This is a slop thing that I've been noticing and picking up on the last, let's say, 5 years in TV shows and in movies. I guess it's more prominent in TV shows, but I'd say movies as well. I'll just give you an example. I just recently sent like Chris and Natalie, I saw a comparison video. Percy Jackson's movie from the 2000s or whatever to the Percy Jackson TV show that Disney like just put out. And it really speaks to the overall slop problem that I keep seeing. It keeps popping up. That's masquerading itself as a trend, and it's to not light anything. The artistic direction for production design, the artistic direction for cinematography has gone so downhill and it's not even just lighting on a blue screen, green screen problem. They're just not lighting anything. And it makes you question, like, are the fundamentals of lighting a narrative project just gone? Are we just not teaching it anymore? And there's a lot of things that stem from like budget saving. So it's studio spending less money to do VFX work, let's say, because we're going to shoot everything completely wide open at 1.3, 1.4, 1.8. So the background's completely blurred. So you don't have to model it.
That bokeh.
So you don't have to spend the money on VFX to actually design a whole world. You just knock it out of focus. So everything's out of focus. So you just save money on VFX by knocking everything out of focus. You don't light anything because like the audience just accepts it. We all just accept these shows and movies now. We're being conditioned to just accept these things that are just so bland and gray and muddy. Everything's muddy. Everything's murky and muddy. They're just not lighting anything. But it's like, is it cost savings? And then we're becoming complacent as audiences to just like accept the slop that they're giving it to us. And then at the same time, the art reflects it's still art, and art reflects the world that we're living in. Like, the world we're living in is kind of muddy and murky, isn't it? So I guess it does kind of reflect this grayness that we're all kind of living through. So like, okay, maybe that does make kind of sense, but I also hate it. I also hate this. What happened to the Hollywood look? What happened to shooting things at like F4, 5, 6? Let's see the world. Let's live in this thing. Where's the hard light? It's now old Hollywood because they don't do it anymore. No one does it anymore. And it's just sad. It's just sad to see this world of cinematography and movies and shows kind of just go downhill.
Everything is shot like way, like everything is lit too clean. Everything is lit too clean to where everything now, like Marvel movies, is one gigantic Amazon commercial. That's how it feels to me. You know what I mean? Like that's literally how the look is, and even then, like, some shows that I've been kind of like dabbling, because I'm a huge, which actually I'm going to save this for my rave actually in a little bit. So I'll save this one thing for my rave, but there's one show that is relative to my rave coming up in a bit that I think just basically fits that bill from what you're talking about. And it's just unfortunate that Hollywood is moving towards this cheaper direction, because getting LEDs and like front lighting and just like overcasting everything is just a way for them to save cash. And because everything is now softly lit and everything is now like exposed, and you keep everything out of focus, so it's just simpler for us to focus on the character in the foreground. It just doesn't feel like, it just doesn't have a style. There's nothing, there's no essence to the film now. There's no essence. There's no
loses texture.
Yeah.
I was
gonna say, you could say the same about story too. Stories have been just going so downhill because they're just trying to pump out content, because there's so many different streaming platforms. So they don't really care. They're like, let's get this done fast, cost effective, so we can put it on streaming platforms as soon as possible.
Bring back Tungsten. Bring back straight up Tungsten.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the comparison?
So this is what Mike had sent to our group
that's one of the
chat.
things comparisons too, which is made by the same production company, the same cinematographer. It's going to have the same director. This is Devil Wears Prada 1 and 2.
Great movie.
But like you can see the comparison of like the grayness and just bland flatness on the right, which is from the trailer of the new movie, and then everything on the left is like it's got pop to it. Not to say this is like the greatest comparison in the world, but it just gives a very simple idea of like, that's how things used to be shot. This is how things are shot now. And it's like, everything's just flat.
I feel like it's like the indie look that took over.
Bridgerton has the same issue. Oh, sorry, Ryan.
Well, I feel like it's like more like an indie look. Like once people started making their own films and leaned into like DSLR filmmaking and everything was wide open, then that sort of became the new trend for Hollywood too. Like, I don't know if that correlation makes sense to anyone
No,
else.
it definitely does. The crazy thing about it, though, the DSLR low budget, I'm just going to blur out everything in the background look was them trying to also chase Hollywood, because a lot of people, like, what do they title it when they're like, what lens is the most quote unquote cinematic. Right, which is like which is the C word that nobody loves to use in this industry, because we got moods that we'd rather use instead as words,
Ask Vinny about wedding cinematographers.
They don't exist. You know what I mean? So
I did weddings for a very long time, and yeah, I would not consider myself a wedding video. It's just a job that I just
cinematographer.
No, you could be a wedding videographer, but a wedding, that's my rant.
Yeah. Vinny, tell us about wedding cinematographer.
Oh,
my God.
We'll make your wedding look like a film type people.
Yeah, well, I mean
that's a premium that you try to market yourself as, right?
Title. It's the title, really. It's this, because here's the thing: to be a cinematographer, you have to shoot movies. That's cinematographer, and you're working with big budgets and you're working with bigger crews, and then you have somebody like. Basically, a videographer calling themselves a cinematographer is like a security guard calling themselves a cop.
Sure, yeah. I mean, to be a cinematographer too,
awesome.
You know what I mean?
That's why I just wanted to get him going.
Well, to be a cinematographer, you have to have control. You have control over your environment and control over what you do. You have no control when you're doing a wedding. You're at the whim of like the freaking day. Like, you have no control over any of that shit. Like, you're not a cinematographer. You're just pointing and shooting.
Yeah, facts.
You get what you get.
There's no control. But anyways, going back,
shooting 6K raw on a wide open lens doesn't make it any like.
Yeah, facts.
That's good. It's a good point.
Yeah. But getting back to what you're saying, dude, I totally agree. It's I think cinema now, with the exceptions of very few films that really.
There's a few gems that stand out.
There's a few gems that stand out.
That's still like, I don't know, respect the art, respect the craft. I don't even know what it is, or have the budget, or they want to dedicate the time to do it, or they're just so good that they can do it in such a tight budget and with no time. But it's just sad to see people up and coming, like maybe even your students or even people at that level that will look up to see these Marvel movies, and that's like, oh, I want to do stuff like that. I want to do stuff like Marvel. Like, no, please, no, you don't.
Please.
But that's the examples that you're growing up on. When we grew up on, like, I'm watching, I don't know, Star Wars Episode 7 on repeat on VHS, or I'm watching the kind of movies that we grew up on and looked up to. Like, you got to look back. You got to actively look back.
Did you say Episode 7?
Yeah, I was.
Oh my God!
Can we go back to that?
Did you say episode?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I don't mean the Star Wars. Episode 7 on
no,
VHS.
my bad. No. Yeah, I was thinking of Episode 5.
Yeah, no.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
The second one out of the first three.
The best one. No, but you're right.
Yeah, you have to actively look back.
Go, but
I wasn't gonna let that go. As a Star Wars fan, we are not allowed to let that
We
go.
didn't see where he was going.
Yeah.
I don't even know the reference because I'm not a Star Wars person. So.
Oh damn! What are you, Star Trek?
More of a Disney.
He likes the Lion King.
He's like, yeah, not Star Wars, just Disney.
I didn't watch Star Wars until Force Awakens came out. Like, I hadn't seen any of them.
Oh, really? So you were a late bloomer. That's why you're like. So if you started with 7, that's why you're not a Star Wars fan.
It's tough, man, because we went through the thing with at the time. So when Star Wars got revitalized, Disney bought and everything like that. The people who had never seen it are now watching a movie from 50 years ago, and they're like, and sometimes we kind of felt it because Ryan, you didn't really feel anything special about it, right? So it was kind of like it was like our little nostalgia experiment of when we watched A New Hope from 1977.
I mean, like I remember watching with you guys in our college dorm, and I was like, it was weird because it's all these characters I've seen for my entire life, but like had never seen in an actual film because I just never watched it. So it was a weird trip of like, oh, it's like now I'm seeing them do things, but yeah, I felt no like real draw towards it at all.
Yeah, you wouldn't say it, but like, weren't in love with it, but didn't hate it. It was just kind of like, fine. Oh, that's a movie.
It was just sort of like I'm kind of following what's happening, but I'm also kind of confused, and yeah, I don't know what's going on.
But have you watched Spaceballs? No, that's the real question.
Yes.
The second one's coming out soon.
I'm so excited.
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not excited because I'm worried it's going to be Hollywood slop.
I like the story behind it. I like the story of Josh Gad and how he he pitched it to his name is the guy who created it. His name is escaping me. The guy. Oh my God, the guy. Like Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
Okay. Yeah, he pitched it to Mel Brooks, and like Mel Brooks liked it. Like the story of like Josh Gad, how he like wrote the idea and like and pitched it. Like, it makes me a little more confident that it'll actually be good. Because
did you see the new Naked Gun?
I did, but not in theaters. I saw it like on streaming, like after the fact, and I was like, oh, I didn't want to see it because like, oh, there's no way this is going to be. And it's like, oh, okay. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
it was actually
me too.
It was actually good.
I think Seth MacFarlane was perfect to produce that whole thing.
It was actually worth watching. It was funny.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, definitely. Getting back to the AI
that's my
slop.
rant.
No, you're on point.
That was a great rant because I agree.
Slop.
We need a rave. We got 2 rants.
All
We
right.
need a rave.
Rave. Time for my rave. Let's go.
That's a good rant.
I have one converse opinion on it too.
What?
Is AS? I agree. AI slop is really annoying and bad, but also like I feel like slop is just like Mike was saying in general. Like social media is 90% slop as it is.
Yeah.
Like half the stuff on there is just garbage content. So AI is just making it easier to make garbage content.
That's true.
Like
It doesn't really
good stuff
change anything.
will still break through the mold.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
I think the problem now, AI is just now like shooting the shit out to the moon now. Like, because instead of like, let's just say like it's slop anyways, right? At least it takes you like 4 hours to shoot and edit something, at least it's you, and you're trying to like hop on a trend or whatever, which I mean, regardless of whether you morally agree with that or not, that's completely up to you. But I can now just type it in and it'll come out in like 2 minutes. Like so now it's like, now there's so much coming out that it's like almost unfathomable to, literally, filter it through your feed, So, but I hear what you're saying though. If it's shit anyways, forget about it.
Shit is shit. It's not going to change.
Yeah. For
All
sure.
the memes are going to get shared regardless of how they're made. So
Yeah, true.